Welcome in Minnesota. I'm not going to say Minnesota high school football fans because our audience includes players, it includes coaches and fans as well. So just welcome in the state of Minnesota to a week 7 edition of our Power Rankings podcast that we put up weekly on Wednesday nights. We record Tuesday nights. Um, got some things cooking up for the last week of the season. You might see a few live streams come out on our YouTube channel. Be aware of that. If you guys, I think our past since a week 3 or whatever, we've broken 2K views on every one of our
Mhm.
pods. So go you. It's a team effort, but I really appreciate the insight. Coach Wilkie's joining me once again. Um, if you guys if you guys have been not long-term viewers, but short-term viewers and enjoying the podcast, go ahead, just share it out to coaches, to players, to friends, to parents, whoever you think would enjoy it. Let's try to get the numbers up a little bit. It's fun, given the state content and the players, fans, coaches. We're getting good feedback on it too. So, yeah, Coach Wilkie, what's up?
Great to be here, man. Glad to have an opportunity to talk high school football, and it was just another really good week across the state, and I'm excited to talk about a few games in particular. Some surprises, some not really surprises, but we've been, you don't wish the season away, but you like to kind of see what the ending's going to look like, and I think we've gotten another picture in there, and then there was some flip flopping of teams on some scores we weren't expecting. So I think there's some better prognostication that's going to go on in terms of how these seedings are going to finish out here in the next week and a half. This is fast and furious. I remember as a high school football coach, week 7 is stressful in a lot of ways. And then you're already looking ahead and you're prepping, your coaches are already prepping for next week. So the scouting is already taking place for teams for their short week. You essentially have 2 practices to get ready for most teams is a really big game. So it's fast and furious, and then we'll get to the playoffs, and that one starts flying by too. So I'm excited to have a lot to talk about.
Yes, I cannot wait to get into it. Um, yeah, man. Before we get into, we'll start with 6A. We'll go down the line. If you're new to how the podcast works, timestamps will be in kind of the YouTube video. But I encourage you to watch all of it. It's fun to see because we're probably going to be talking about the teams that you're going to be see playing at the bank or just in good playoff games
Right.
and some of the best players in Minnesota as well. So it's
I
just
think,
good for awareness
yeah, I
wise.
think my take on what you're talking about as a football coach, as a coach is, and fans, is you get really focused on your level. 6A people care about 6A and so on. But I do encourage people to check it all out. As a general high school football coach and former college football coach, there's a lot of really good football at all the levels, really good football and good players. So if I've learned anything this year by having to watch a lot of film of different levels of football, wow, there's some good coaching and there's some really good football players out there. I'm excited to talk about a few of them tonight.
Yeah. Before we get into it, we've brought it up, but the sponsorship of My 7 on 7, you may have heard of them already, but if you're new, it's basically My 7 on 7 is around the Twin Cities, and they're kind of expanding, getting into a little bit more of the, what would you call it, rural areas or,
Outstate
yes.
Minnesota. Yeah.
So they're kind of expanding and getting out of just the Twin Cities. So again, we talk about multiple classes. There's probably teams on here that there's a My 7 on 7 location that's probably pretty close to you. So just search it up on their website. They have 7 on 7's a passing league. I know a lot of Minnesota teams like to run the ball, but there's also passing, and that makes the more you can do it in the off season, it just makes the season a little bit more fun when you get to see the connections that were
Absolutely.
built up in the off season. So go check My 7 on 7 out. Get signed up. Get your team signed up for a league. I know they do high school all the way down to kindergarten. So go hit that up. And yeah, let's get into
Yeah,
this.
let's go.
Here we go. Let me pop it up real quick. Ooh, there we go. All right, so we're going to start out with 6A rankings wise. I know we've talked about Minnetonka and Maple Grove, and not a lot. I don't think a lot needs to be talked about them personally, but there was a comment that brought up like, why is Maple Grove 2? Why aren't they 1? My first response to that was, I think it's a 1A and 1B thing. Especially it gets kind of mucky now that Tonka Gutzmer has his injuries pushing to, you know, to try and get healthy, try and be back, for the big week 8 matchup.
Mhm.
That week 8 matchup might be played without Gutzmer, and then
Right.
how can we really tell who's the better team? My thing was I got to go see these teams a little bit in the summer, both of them, just looking at their rosters, like Maple Grove graduated a lot of people, and I know Minnetonka did as well, but they're 2 different teams. So if your idea is, well, Maple Grove won state last season, so they should be 1. I don't If that's your reasoning, I'm not gonna buy it. Now, if you can there's probably other reasons that Maple Grove can give me, and I could buy those, but, just going off last year's, state title, ask Fertile Beltrami,
Yeah.
because they're not the same team as they were
I,
last.
I would on to feed off what you're saying. I don't know 1 and 2. If somebody's complaining about being 2 instead of 1, again I think those 3 teams are interchangeable. I've got for the first time this year, I got my problems with Eden Prairie.
Nice.
I did watch that entire Moorhead game, and to be honest with you, I would slide Moorhead up there quite a ways. That team impressed me. I'm just saying, if Eden Prairie is what we think they are, they could have, should have, possibly beat Minnetonka the week before. Moorhead's playing with a backup quarterback, and I had to go watch this game. I saw the score, and I wanted to see Moorhead and what they look like, so I watched this whole game, and it was a heck of a game. First off, let's start with the quarterback that's subbing for Feeney, and he is a stud athlete. I think I sent you some stats. Like, I started watching myself. Maybe I'm out of
Yep.
the loop on this, but Austin, as you say, Dreiberg,
Yeah, I think something
Dreiberg,
like that, yeah.
6'7", 205, had 257 yards passing, 5 passing touchdowns. Like, he doesn't. I will say, hopefully some more people are watching. He doesn't look like a pure quarterback. His throwing mechanics are a little raw, but he gets the ball where it needs to be. The kid is like, runs a 50. I looked up his track stats.
Yeah,
Like, he runs a 57 quarter mile. I mean, he high jumps 5'10". I mean, this kid's a really good athlete. I'm sure he's a great basketball player too, and I'm missing out on that, people. So you didn't know this. But I will tell you, I want to fast forward in this game because the game was back and forth. End of the third quarter, Moorhead's up 27-26. And when you start thinking about the drive that Moorhead came back on after Eden Prairie scores to go up, Eden Prairie gets the 2-point conversion, a little crafty play, throwback to the tight end to get the 2-point conversion, which they needed to go up 34-27. Obviously, Moorhead makes their way down the field and scores, and then goes for 2, and it's kind of a botch play, but they literally went, go for the win and didn't get it. So that if they get that 2-point conversion, this board looks
right.
significantly different.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was saying last week is, when people look, if you're just looking online or in the newspaper and you're seeing game scores, they're very deceiving for the most part. I think sometimes if you see a score that's 31-10, that game could have been 31 Rock at halftime. They put the JV in, they scored a couple late, right? But
Mhm.
some of these games literally are going down to the last drive and there's a turnover late.
Right.
Man, but that Moorhead Eden Prairie game, really good. Eden Prairie is still a solid football team. But I got some issues with them in that game defensively. They really struggled defending the pass more than I expected them to. Yeah, I would slide Moorhead up there probably after watching that game and thinking, if the Dreiberg kid goes back to tight end and Feeney comes back at quarterback and he's another receiving weapon, they might be a top 4 team. And maybe
Hey, well,
that's just wild,
that's where I
but
had
I'm
them at
just
the
telling
start.
you,
I had them as
yeah,
a top 5 team, so I'm not
I tell
there's
you, I'm a believer.
yeah.
No doubt. So the Prior Lake, the Prior Lake game with South, also just a heck of a football. I mean, really good football game. Way more points than I would think. Excuse me, Shakopee.
Yeah.
Way more points than I would think Shakopee would give up for the defense. They have like one of the top 3 scoring defenses in the state, and give up 38 points. So I don't know what's going on there, but that really
Yeah,
a
Shakopee
lot of
has been
eyebrows raised there. Yeah, so it's interesting. The Lakeville South Edina game. That's where I'm looking at my notes here, but also just these games, 2-point games. You're talking about 2-point conversions, PAT issues, those types of things that are just switching these games up. So Centennial had a good win. Forest Lake, they keep doing what they do over Eastridge, 28-7. I love Rosemont, man. They
yeah.
might be the dark horse team. Their defense is so good. I know Lakeville North doesn't score a lot of points, yeah, overall, but a shutout and cruise to a win there. So, man, I'm anxious for this
I
ending.
think Rosemont's like they're 3 on my rankings, but I feel like people are overlooking them because when you think of
Hmm.
their section, you do think of like the Shakopee comes to mind. It's the Lakeville South.
Well, I'll tell you what, most of these games are online. So if you've
Yeah,
got questions, people have questions out there on this, go watch
yeah,
because Rosemont is solid. Well
yeah.
coached. Coach Erdman's a really good football coach and his staff is great. So I like what they're doing. And I guess I'll come back because I'm a homer, but Andover does it again. They're down 14 going to the fourth quarter. I was at my son's game he's the head coach at Holy Family. Homer again, I'm sorry, but I've got the Andover game on stream, so I could see that one live. And homecoming win. They're down 14 going to the fourth quarter and come back and win the game. So they know how to come from behind. They don't give up. So
When
Rogers is a
you
much better team than the record, that's for sure.
right, when you see a team, because this whole Andover story, especially like the last 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
it's you can either take it in a positive way and be like, this team knows how to win. This team is battle tested. But
Yep.
if one play goes the other way, you're not saying it about that game. And that's kind of where I am. Right. I'm on the not anti Andover, but I'm like, I got my
Understand.
caution flags about Andover just because of the
Well,
way they are
it's you can
sneaking
look at it
past
and you
these
can
things.
say they're 5-1, and if one bounce goes their way in the Champlin game, they're 6-0.
Right.
On the other hand, if there's 3 snaps that go the other way, they're 2-3.
Yeah.
But I always say, football games they're not artwork. You're not getting style points. It's just about winning. And
Right.
so, they put the ball back in Joseph Mapton's hands, and he found receivers, and the defense came up big at the end. I think that's probably a little undersell. They've had their struggles, but they came up when they needed to. So, but another good win there, no doubt.
Yeah, it just scares me. Like the Rogers, I
Mhm.
know Moorhead was a different team, but a 10-48 score week 1. You look
Mhm.
at their Centennial game, they get goose egg 36-0'd. When you just look at, you take a look, I know Rogers is probably better than their record says they are, but when you do some comparisons and
Mhm.
he like I don't think of Andover as a middle of the pack team. I'm comparing them to like where I think they should be in the top
Mhm.
10ish. So that's
Mhm.
kind of like I
I
guess
think
it's a
that's a I think it's a fair spot for them. I think, if they win out, they play Osseo Friday, and then they have the short week. They have Blaine. If they win out, they're going to get the 1 seed. And if they get a 1 seed, now you got a little easier path potentially. But I would say, it's pretty funny because if you have a team like Anoka that gets the A seed, do you think Anoka is going to be scared to play Andover? That after that. So
got
I don't
Brody
know.
Rush.
Yeah. So yeah. So sometimes, like when you compare these scores, I always think it's really interesting because I don't think Andover has been great at defending the pass. So they've done better against these run teams. And I think, like I watched Eden Prairie, they did not defend the pass well at all. So I think sometimes you match up run team versus run team and the run defenses, you know, that can help. But sometimes teams have weaknesses in certain parts of their game. And, it's just like any of these teams where you don't throw the ball a lot. A team like Centennial, if they get behind by 2 touchdowns, I don't know, their pass game isn't going to be prolific enough to bring them back in those games. So matchups matter. There's no doubt about that.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I want to talk a little bit. I know we're heavy on the North right now, but the
Hmm.
Osseo Blaine game was interesting. I got to watch some of it, not a lot of it, but just the 14-0 with Crayons, and then he goes out with a concussion,
Sure.
and the 14-0 evaporates. Osseo doesn't score anymore. Blaine wins
Right.
the game. how do you view that game? I view that game as in, like, I don't know, but Blaine also is kind of a mystery box to me as well
Yeah, they don't
because
throw the ball well. They're more of a running spread run team. But I'll
yeah,
say this too, like I don't know how many teams in this list except for Moorhead have a backup quarterback that's going to come and pass for 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So
there's
there's
no
not
other team.
yeah, so I'm just saying like I think sometimes, you have those backup players come in. Look at Centennial. Quarterback goes out in the
Yeah,
Andover game, fumbles the ball, game's over. It's like
right.
but that's part of the game, right?
Yeah,
You don't I mean, you don't get to predict all that stuff ahead of time and plan for it, and it happens. And um, there is some fortune. There's no doubt about it. But that's what we have to play off of for sure.
yeah. A definitely a weird one. When you look at kind of like these bottom two rows, you get a lot of the East, little Woodbury, Stillwater, Mounds View, and then Eastridge was a team that dropped out of my rankings that I
Yeah,
think has a chance with Tome's coming back. I think that's a good, I don't know, another thing where you look and he really hasn't played for Eastridge this whole season.
sure.
Um, and now he's coming back with Eastridge running two different offenses. You really don't know what you're going to get from Eastridge as well.
Well, Eastridge and Anoka, I think, are the two bracket busters. Now, if Anoka's kids don't fold their tent because of all the tough luck, they've lost 3 games in a row by a total of 6 points. They're 3 snaps away from a different record, being 3-3, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think when you start looking at teams that they've played above them, Osseo beat them on a fake punt and a reverse pass. They lost to Andover in the last minute. You can look at these things and I would say like if they're a team that if their kids keep believing, I don't know, they could play a little better defense. They can score points. They can definitely score points. So I don't know, man. I just feel like Anoka is one of those teams that if you wanted to throw some of your Coles cash that you got from me this week on a dark horse, they might be an upset team that can pull an upset. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Especially
yeah,
with when you see how the bracket shakes out of like
sure.
which seed are they going to play, and then
Yeah,
who are they actually going to play of the seeds that are there. So
right.
I think
Yeah, it'll
definitely,
be interesting. I'm excited. I mean, I when we get to the playoffs, it's we get the real bracket, comparison, and I'm looking
yeah.
forward to that.
We're hoping to do a 6A live stream kind of previewing some of these playoff matchups that we could. We're not going to have the exact bracket or whatever because the coaches, get together, discuss that. But we got a connection that has, a good understanding and some good visualization of what matchups we could possibly see.
I think the other thing that
Given
we could probably I didn't bring this up in our pre-show discussion, but the QRF will probably be released while we're on the air.
yeah,
So I might pull that tab up and hit the
so be
refresh button
another
on
thing
that
to look
because
at.
that would be super helpful for us.
Yes,
Not that QRF always matters to coaches because
right.
it's it's a mystery of analytics. I know that. So, but it's at least something another tool for us to look at and use.
Coach Lance said, "I'd pay to be a fly on the wall in the coaches' meetings because there's going to be so much like interesting talk about like how the seating shakes out, especially when you think of how some of these sections have shaken out, where it is kind of up in the air, where you get like we've talked about the weird triangles where you can kind of put one team over the other
Right.
and so forth. But yeah, I think STMA also it might be another team to look at that's going to be a
Yeah.
really low seed. But I mean, they gave Maple Grove a pretty good
Yeah, they
fight.
did.
They
They
were up
did.
by 3 at half. So
Yeah.
um,
I think the fact they put those kind of points on the board
yeah,
against Maple Grove is a sign of life out in St. Michael. So again, like I said every week, we don't get injury reports, so you
right.
don't know if somebody's missing their starting center or a corner that somebody's picking on. I don't know, but it does matter. There's no doubt about that. So, but yeah, we're running out of time. Some of these teams are running out of time to make their point. So we're going to
Yes.
know a lot after Friday.
Yes, let's get into two of the matchups we're gonna make picks for. One matchup you probably maybe saw it coming. The other one I know you didn't because I don't let you see these before.
I can see why
Okay.
you did the one.
So
I see
let's
that.
go back to last week. We started a thing where we put two games up for each class and we each get both of our picks. Whatever coach picks, I'm gonna get the other team essentially by default. So I'll be basically cheering for him to be wrong by cheering for his um, team that he chose to lose the game. That's basically the fun with this. Last week we'll go by. We got our overall record. We'll kind of sum it up after we go through all the classes.
Sure.
Took the dub, but
You
we'll
did.
go Lakeville South, Edina. I think you picked Edina last
Yep,
week.
I
That
did.
was your choice.
You had Shaka.
And Shakopee Prior Lake. I chose Prior Lake. It wasn't a default Prior Lake pick, which I think a
Yep.
lot of people might think it was.
Yep.
I chose Prior Lake. I'm on record a big Prior Lake believer.
You got me on that one.
Yeah,
I felt really confident about both of my picks, to be
yeah.
honest with you. So
Well, to be honest, I would have felt good about a Shakopee default pick if you would.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so no
So
fault to
yeah,
you there.
two
But
L's for me.
yeah, I start off 6A 2-0.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
By
really
the
good
way,
start.
everybody knows it's $100 of Cole's cash for each
That's
victory. So you're up
Coles. Email us,
200. Yeah, Cole's.
DM us.
They're also they're going to be a silent sponsor. I feel
A
like.
silent sponsor. All right, so let's get into Centennial Bland. I think this has not much needs to be said about like why this matchup is interesting. I think we kind of touched on it that for my money, like I said, Blaine's a mystery box in a sense. I could see them beating Centennial or I could see them
Right.
losing by 40. It's a very wide variety. And then I got the game that has no wins between the two teams.
I mean,
So one of
actually,
these
this game
teams,
is intriguing to me because this is the week these kids showed up at practice and they're like, "Hey, we can win a game this week." You
yes,
know, it's been tough on both those teams and they've been struggling. So this is a hope week for them where somebody's going to get a win, right?
one team has to win.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
thing.
definitely. Well, I mean, could be a tie, I guess. Could be wild. All right, what are we doing here? Rock, paper, scissors. Who gets a pick
Since you
first?
lost, I'll let you pick.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Blaine.
Oh,
I think Blaine's gonna find a way this week.
man.
I like them in this game, and I think that's my go-to in
It
that
is
first
at
game.
Blaine. Blaine's got a home
Yep.
game.
Yep.
But I feel really good about that Centennial default there. I think I
Okay.
would have picked Centennial with my pick. So that makes me happy. But
Are
I
we
think
writing
it's
these down? I need a
oh
pen.
yes. I gotta do this because I told you my whiteboard got erased.
Hold on.
From I should go marker on paper. That way I I have it. All
I
right.
mean, I suppose we have a digital copy of
I
this
mean true,
we
but
could
it does
watch.
take that is true, but I got a lot of other things to look at than
That
a
is true.
hour and a
All
half.
right. You got Centennial, I got Blaine.
All right, in
And then I've
my
got and
pick
then
for the Roseville Park game, I'm gonna go Roseville.
all right.
Yes, I'm gonna go Roseville.
I mean, I don't have any data to say you're right or wrong. So,
Well,
um,
I know
they
Roseville didn't score an offensive touchdown through like 4 weeks, I think it was.
and now they're catching their
Um,
stride.
but I don't know Park has I've heard a lot about Park's injury situation, especially at the quarterback position, and that frightens me as well. Is also
Mhm.
just um, I don't know. I
Well, I'm excited to try to win some money back this week. How about that?
Roseville played Hopkins tough. They almost beat Hopkins. And
And
I'm
you
a
love Hopkins, so I
yes,
mean,
I'm a
that's hard to
Hopkins
believe.
believer. So a 3-point loss to Hopkins, I don't think is too bad because
Oh, I
yeah.
agree.
So
I agree.
I think
I
I'm
agree.
going 2-0 again for 6A again.
Well, we'll find out. So I'm trying to get my money back.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we move on to
No,
5A?
I think we cleaned up 6A pretty well.
All right.
I think it's I'm excited for this next week.
Okay. Let's talk about the one team again because Alex played Bemidji. For my money, that game could have went either way. That was probably the game that I saw a lot of, and I think an unsportsmanlike penalty when Bemidji was driving at the end of the game kind of ruined Bemidji's chances a little bit of winning that. I know there were turnovers by both teams that
The
kind of
turnovers were
were
atrocious by Alex.
disgusting. Yeah.
Alexandria's turnovers were atrocious.
Yep.
I mean, that was just killer. So they the first drive, just a really good drive. They get sacked, 4th and long. They go for it. Quarterback scrambles, doesn't get there. Bemidji intercepts, or excuse me, Bemidji gets an interception. The Zabel kid, somebody corrected me on there because the number was
I
wrong on
saw
the
that.
roster. The Zabel kid, yeah, he's going to UND, Harvard of the North. You know, I'm an alum. He's playing D line and kind of sees the short pass and it gets tipped and he catches it. But Alex had a really nice run pass balance in the game. I like the Witt kid at quarterback. I almost feel like sometimes he's a little too much back there. You know, like I think he bails out of the pocket when he doesn't need to bail out of the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah, I was
I mean,
looking at some I think he does it because he's very confident in it, and I know it's a high school quarterback thing. Trust me, I was in your offense, and that was like my number one thing of like, okay, stay in the pocket, get rid of the ball, get
mhm,
it out on time, and I
mhm.
think that's a struggle for high school quarterbacks. But Witt, I was looking at, and some of the plays he makes out of the pocket, off platform, is like
Yep.
nobody in the state is probably making that throw. It's an
Well,
unbelievable throw to make.
here's my counterpoint. I don't disagree with that. Get out of the pocket when you need to get out of the pocket. No, just get
Right.
out of the pocket because you want to get out of the pocket, because pass concepts are made for the pocket. So I'm a big R4 guy, you know,
Yep. Know
rhythm
all
rush
about it.
really, right? So I think that takes him out of that a little bit. I thought a couple of those interceptions were caused because of that. But he also made a scramble and flipped it over the top to a
It
wide
can be
receiver on
boom or
scramble
bust,
rule, and
right?
he's 75-yard TD. I just want to go down the play call here because this game was really good. Bemidji is you're right. I'll give you credit. Bemidji is a much better team than I thought they were. Bemidji really runs the football well. 75-yard drive. They score right before half, 21-16. Alex fumbles again to end the half. Bemidji comes out, play action pass to the tight end, wide open down the middle of the field, 40-yard TD, goes up 28-16. Alex comes back. This thing goes 36-35. Alex goes up with 7 minutes to go, 36-35. Bemidji fumbles on 4th and 2 at the +10 with 3 minutes left in the game.
Mhm.
Alex gets the ball back. You're thinking, like, Bemidji just get a stop here, right? Alex gets the ball back. They're on their own 45-yard line. Did you watch this? Own
Uh,
45-yard line, 4th and 2, and they go fake punt on their own 45,
that's
and he gets it.
that's
And
ballsy.
I think Witt might be the punter.
I think I do remember that.
So I
I just
mean, it
remember
was
the final drive by Bemidji was burned into my brain because I
yeah.
think that was when, they had it. Because if you put Bemidji in a 2-minute drive, I wasn't expecting them to go down and
They
score.
they they did some
But
good stuff. They
yeah,
they're athletic. Yeah, I love the call, the fake punt call to win the game. I mean, man,
gambling. The
well, it's over.
Dan Campbell.
You get the first down and you take a
Over.
knee. You punt it to them. They've got about a minute and a half to go or a minute to go. You don't know what's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was great. I love the game. I do agree with you. Alex cannot be number one after that near loss snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. But I think St. Thomas Academy, I've watched enough of them as well. Monty's a powerhouse scoring team. Chan crushes their cross-town rivals. Chaska, Elk River, kind of a boring game, but did what they have to do. I do think SLP is a team to be reckoned with as well. I think they're knocking on the door up there. So maybe the only team that I was disappointed in this week was Alexandria. I mean, they pulled off a win against a tough Bemidji team, but they looked really messy. The turnovers at this time of the year, if I'm the head coach of that team, I'm really frustrated after that game. A win's a win, but those are things that you don't want to see this time of year heading into playoffs.
Why are we, and I know you were the one that talked about this, about the Chan STA game, because we had somebody from Chan message or put in the comments, just basically saying, "Why are we 4? We only had 3/4 against St. Thomas," and I feel
Yep.
like it's a big leap. I get you had 3/4, but it's a big leap to say that even though you had 3/4, that you were gonna like win that game. Is that? I mean,
11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter
I
and a
get it.
2-touchdown lead. They had the ball. If they go down and score in 4 minutes, now there's 7 minutes to go to the game down by a score. I don't know. I'm not saying STA is that Chan is better than them, but I would just love to see the end of that game, and maybe
Yeah,
we will get to see a
right.
4-quarter game the next time they
Hopefully,
play. Yeah, I
hopefully
hope
we will.
so. I hope so.
That was one of the things I just wanted to bring up because,
Yep. No, I appreciate it.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm a St. Thomas believer here.
Yeah.
We
No,
got
they're talented. They're
I don't
talented.
know. I don't know if Matamida should be 10. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like they've um I don't know. When I look at their overall schedule, nothing really. I look for quality wins in a sense that
Sure.
do you have something that kind of pops out of the paper that shows you you're for
Mhm.
real? Nothing really pops out when you look at Matamidi, so you can't even look if they played a good team close.
Right.
It's not even one of those
Right.
situations. So I like to view teams in mystery boxes.
Yeah.
I think that's a big
I
one of 10.
I think that 6 to 10 area, like I said, I was just talking about SLP. I like them. I watched through. I've clipped through their game. They're a really physical team. Bemidji showed their worth. I mean, they're a play away from winning that game.
And you think
Um,
about the Elk River game at
yeah,
the start of
same
the
thing.
season.
Same
So
thing. Um, Cretin has been steady. They're better than I expected them to be this year. New coaching situation, new offense, that kind of stuff. So they've been impressive to me too. So the seeding for all of this will get interesting um, when these teams get matched up cross sections when we get to the state tournament. I think some of these sections, those top teams are clearly better than everybody in the section. So it'll be interesting to see how the sections cross over. I need to pull that up and look at it. I'm still not going to go. I'm still not selling out on Elk River. Coach Hamilton. The one thing that guy's proven is a loss in the season is nothing. Because it's all about the postseason. So just get there. So I'm not going to say that they're not going to be in that final game. So yeah,
right.
not going to write them off.
Yeah, I think when you look at the second row, you kind of see. I think Cretan, Matamidi, and SLP are kind of the ones that I think can accuse of not playing. I know Cretan played STA week 1, and that's kind of hard because with Coach Royston and his new staff, week 1, that's a real tough game to get
Sure,
into
sure.
to start the season. So who knows what you can take from that? That might be one of the games where we get a better look and maybe a closer game because I think the score was closer than what the game actually was.
Right.
That game. So hopefully we can see another like Creighton plays Elk River the last week. We've talked about that. It's going to be
I'll just tell
interesting.
you right now. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to tell you, Elk River is not a team. I don't know if Cretan's ever played Elk River. Am
Probably
I?
not.
I Okay. So they've got a coaching staff that's never prepped for the power T of Elk River, and they've got 2 days to do it. Ain't going to work out. Just going
Yeah,
to
it's
tell you,
not.
ain't
Odds are
gonna
not in their favor
not
there.
going to work out. I like Cretan, good staff and all that kind of stuff, but I wish you well because
Different animal.
that is a different animal to get ready for in 2 days. So
Yeah, I got to see Washburn a little bit on Saturday. I
mhm.
got to the game and they were up 28-0. I was
Right,
like, gosh dang, I wanted to see more of this team, but
right.
um, we look at their North loss that was kind of a shootout in a way. I think it ended up like 34-28 or something like that. So I think
Mhm.
Washburn, although I think my initial impression, at least at the start of the season, was kind of meh on Washburn. I think they're at least better than I thought they were. And then it kind of gets into this, like the East Chask. I know they kind of Waconia took a loss, so I feel like there's some stuff to be had going around this second, third row. Buffalo plays Spring Lake Park
Mhm.
this upcoming week. That's going to
Yep.
be a good one. Um,
SLP They're just a better team, I think. I
Yeah.
I know a little love for Washburn, but when you get beat like they did by a 3A school, I don't know. That's kind of high
It's
for
not
me.
any 3A school.
I'm
It's
just
not any.
saying. I'm
I
just saying.
got you.
Still a 3A school.
I think
They still
well,
have
I mean, if
half the
you
roster.
okay, if you take North and you play half of these 5A teams, how many teams are they gonna beat? Bad.
I not. North, they couldn't
Yeah.
beat anybody in that top 10.
No, not the top 10. No, I'm not talking about top 10.
Oh.
I'm talking about, like, middle
Oh,
of the tier
even
to bottom 5A.
oh,
How
well,
many?
and all love to Coach Owe, but the reality is the depth of those teams and the size of their physical size of their roster is not even remotely the same. That's my take on it. The
So
size of the size of the offensive and defensive lines and the depth of their players. North probably has how many players do you think? I'd have to look at it. How
I
many
have no
players does North
idea.
have going both ways?
Right.
And these guys are running a fresh O-line, D-line out there. So
Yeah,
that's that. I'm not saying that the athletic ability is probably matchable, but what happens in a game is
gotcha.
the grind of playing on both sides of the ball versus, that's just a different animal. So
Yeah. I think,
that's my take.
yeah, Cambridge Isani pulled up a big win. They started the season 2-0, and they played a gauntlet the next 3 weeks, which
Mhm.
he didn't expect too much of them to come out of the the next 3 weeks. He didn't expect to win, but hopefully they're getting back on track. I think Burnsville was ranked last week. I got to watch Kamara. I know they lost
Mhm. God,
against
he's a
Apple
good
Valley,
athlete.
but
Good
yeah, dude,
athlete.
that dude's a
Really
heck
good
of a running
athlete.
back.
Really
Heck
good
of a running
athlete.
back.
Yep.
Definitely a fun player to watch on, one of those teams where they do have a few guys, but just talent on what you consider, not a team to focus on, but they're
Yeah.
still good
Well, and I
talent.
think too, like I was just saying, when you get to 5A and 6A, the probably overwhelming difference in the top teams is the physical size of the offense and defensive lines. That's just the nature of a larger school enrollment. There's just more kids and more big kids, and
Yeah.
so the depth of that really matters.
Yeah. Um, anywhere you want to touch, or should we get on to
No,
the
let's
matchup?
get to the matchups.
All right. So last week, it's not
Yes, that's fantastic. Well
it's not
done.
it's not on the screen. Okay. Last week's was Alexandria Bemidji and it was Chaska Chan. And give us the results of what last week was.
I took Bemidji, and I was almost right, but I took another L. I took Chan and got the dub. So we're 1-1 there.
Okay.
That
So
puts you up. That puts you up 3-1.
3-1.
So
Okay.
so far.
Noted.
So yeah, that was tough. The Bemidji game, I almost made me a genius. So
I figured you would pick Alexandria on that. I'm surprised thinking back
I,
to it. I feel like I would have picked Bemidji because you've been kind of not a Bemidji hater, but you've
no,
been
you love the axe. You're
yes.
all about
I'm a
that.
lumberjack. I was
Yeah.
thinking I was gonna come out with a freaking axe on
If they pulled off the win,
yes, if they
yeah,
went, I was gonna have a axe ready to go for
you're
this
going to
podcast,
violate
but
the podcast weapons policy. The
demonetized.
weapon on the air.
It is a tool.
Yeah.
All right. You went first.
You go first this time.
Okay. I'm gonna pick Cretan.
All
In a,
right.
I think this is gonna be a game that Matamidi is better than what they have been, but I we talked about Matamidi. I think Cretan's gonna be a different animal, and don't think it's gonna be close. Maybe Matamidi will prove me wrong, but I think this could be. I want it to be a good game. I don't know how good of a game it's gonna be because I'm a believer in Cretan, but that's my pick.
Okay. We'll see if I can get that. I'm going to take Elk River. I'm a believer in Elk River this time of year. I think that their system keeps getting better toward the end of the season. And I think Monticello puts up a lot of points, which I think they can do against Elk River. But I think Coach Hamilton is going to do a great job of slowing the game down and keeping that offense off the field. That's
Limiting
my
the
prediction.
possessions.
Always about that. I've been
Yes.
there. You're looking at the clock going, we don't even have enough possessions left in the game. So I know how it goes.
That's a Thursday game this week,
Yep.
and I don't know if Monticello has streaming or whatever's going on. I'll be at the game. I haven't
Okay.
reached out to the athletic director yet, but I'll be at it. There'll be highlights of the game posted on our YouTube channel.
Have you been to Monty's Field before?
I have. I went to a
One of the
couple.
one of the best football stadiums,
Yeah.
I think in the metro, if you call it metro, but at
I
least they
took a
run
couple
it.
trips out there this off season for some
Beautiful.
7-on-7, some
I love
tournaments.
any high school field that doesn't have a track around it. I think is
Just
awesome. The
straight
fans are
football.
closer. Buffalo Stadium is also fantastic.
Yeah, they got a
So
good atmosphere as
really,
well over
really
there.
good field.
Oh, yes. Okay, we got our picks. One of the things I'll wait. I'll touch on this next
All right.
podcast.
All
I
right.
wanna do
All
a new
right.
segment where it's what's an improvement we can have to make high school football better?
Okay.
So that's an idea. We'll
You gonna
start that
get me
next
started on that as a coach? I got
Yes.
all kinds of ideas, but
Yes. I
go
got
on.
my biggest one. So,
Okay. We'll
uh,
save that.
yes, we will save that
All
for
right.
later. Yeah, let's go into
Ooh,
some foray.
man.
The headliner game
Boy,
being Byron Casson Manorville. That
I
was
could not wait to
quite the
watch. I
game.
watched that whole game. I would have loved to have been. Were you at that game?
I was not.
Oh my goodness. They said they had the biggest crowd ever. They had about 2,500 people. It was packed. So if anybody wants to go watch it, it's streamed out there. You can check it out. It is a fantastic football game. I love that you put Cass and Manorville at 2 after the loss. They could have won that football game.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a football
They
game.
lost by 2 touchdowns, but at the end, it was a fumble 6 that kinda
Oh God. They're going down to score. They're
Yeah,
going down to tie the game.
right.
And just this kid, I mean, they haven't bobbled a pitch the whole game. And I
Uh-huh.
think he got his eyes up looking at the end zone and bobbled it, and they scoop it up and go the other way. And then that's what I was saying. It looks like the score is a blowout, and it's
Yeah.
not even close. I will say that I want to say his name. Is it Hemmer or Heimer?
Heimer.
Heimer. Okay. I hadn't watched a lot of Byron, but I watched his whole game. Man, is that kid a stud?
Yeah.
His coach said in the post game interview he's one of the fastest kids. So I'm like, I want to find this out. He does have on his track stats online. He had 3 high school meets last spring where he ran sub 11s, where he ran a 10.84, a 10.91. Like that is flying. So yeah, he had 200 yards rushing, 200 yards rushing, 3 TDs. So he is dynamic. But I'll tell you what, Cass and Manorville, their defense played really, really well. They gave Byron all kinds of fits defensively. The game was just back and forth, and aside from that turnover at the end, man, both teams played so well. It was really fun to watch. I don't know if you had thoughts on that one, but I also watched the Marshall game with Orono.
No, go
And
ahead. Go
again,
ahead.
I mean, both real props to Orono because Marshall is a good team. I would slide Orono up there. I know Stewartville is good, but if you really think and we believe that Marshall is the 3 team, man, Orono has got to be like 4. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's not a lot of difference. Those teams could play each other 5 times and go 3-2, 2-3, whatever. But yeah, that Orono is solid. The defense has played so well in that game. I thought Orono's defense to hold Marshall to 2 scores. Those games come down to extra points, 13-12.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, those are just fantastic high school football games. So
The bias coming in there, guess the one Orono game that I went to this season.
Orono game. Oh, who? I don't know.
They played Byron, and they got
Byron.
their
Whipped.
face kicked in. Yeah, so that probably leads me to having Orono a little.
Sure,
and it's
I
not
get
that
it.
if Orono plays Byron, is the game going to end that way again? Probably not. Because it just happens.
Sure. Sometimes the thing starts sliding downhill and it just snowballs itself.
Downhill.
It's the same thing. Like I go back to I know the Alexandria people just all mad because I picked Elk River to beat them, but I'm like, if they think they're going to play Elk River again and beat them by that score, I got news for you. You haven't watched enough Elk River football.
Yeah.
By the same token, some teams become less intimidated as the year goes on. They believe in themselves a little more. So I also like Hill Murray. Coach Reeves is doing just a fantastic job there too. I think they're a little more talented than maybe some people are giving them credit for. I like the Ricori win.
Yeah.
That
Top
was
10 appearance.
Yeah. So they deserve that spot. Yeah, they deserve that spot. So the St. Peter That one, yeah, that was part of our picks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't that one, dude. That was I'm impressed. St. Peter's been a team that, they haven't been a really great football program. The good football program, not a really great top 10 team, top 5 team. So sometimes they surprise you.
Yes, indeed, and yeah, I don't know. St. Peter, top 5 appearance there
Yeah,
for
might be the highest all time,
it might be the highest all time in
right?
Minnesota High School Football Network history. It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
What's the line that Bill Walton had? You remember Bill Walton? The guy's epic.
I do. I would not.
Rest in peace, Bill Walton. Right, but
Yes,
he's doing one of those Christmas games. Where
quote
they
machine.
yeah, he's doing the Christmas game, and he's like, "This is the best I've ever seen San Diego State play." And the guy goes, "Have you ever seen him play?" No. That's why I love
That's
that.
hilarious.
That's awesome, man. So anyway, same with St. Peter. This is the best I've ever seen him play. I've never seen him play before. So
Right. Yeah,
the
maybe
other
the
team
Albert Lee team that
yeah,
was undefeated going into it.
yeah,
So
that cost me another $100 of Colts cash. The Totino Grace is the other team that's getting sneaky right now. I think
we've talked
they're
about them, and they're just building.
just finding. Yep, they're gonna surprise some people with coming out of nowhere. Maybe for us, maybe other teams are going. They're not surprising anybody. So
Yeah.
but
Grand
yeah.
Rapids put the smackdown on a good North Branch team that is impressive, and that's 2 quality wins in a row for Grand Rapids, going to Hermantown and then beating
Yeah.
uh, North Branch in
Yep.
a very convincing fashion
Yeah.
as
Right.
well. So coming in just one place out of a top 10 spot, it could be
Yeah.
there.
Well, I think Becker's a good team, and then their TG obviously is gonna, knock them all the way out. I think TG probably could be ranked a little higher.
Yeah.
But the Ricori win and the way they won, I don't know. Maybe Fergus Falls is a flash in the pan too, but
Right.
we'll see here down the stretch. Things are gonna, like I said, you got 2 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
So we'll
It's
have
gonna
a
be
whole
fast
different
and furious
we're gonna
here.
have a whole different operation here shortly.
Yeah, I got to watch Johnson play on. They played a Saturday game as well. They played Harding Humboldt, which I was talking to Coach France. I said Harding Humboldt needs to be like. I said I think my initial message was they need to be a co-op school, and he was they already are. And I was like, well, we got to get another school in there somewhere, just because
The numbers are
need
tough. Yeah.
they need help. And I think it's not any slight to a coach or player
Nope.
on that team,
Nope.
but it's just a reality that some of those like inner city like schools, they just struggle with numbers
The
and
numbers.
also what
Yeah,
type of
the resources they have are a little different than the suburbs. That's for sure.
yeah. So hopefully my idea was have St. Paul Central. I know this is some 5A talk going on, but Central join in with Harding Humboldt to make a three school co-op, and I think that'd be a little better for them. But
Yeah.
just my idea. Johnson, Justice Moody's, for my money, one of the best receivers in the state, and probably on a team that not a lot of people know about, especially for people that know surface level. St. Paul, Johnson's not a team that really comes up in much discussion, but they do like. I've gotten to see 2 games in the past 2 seasons, and some of their playmakers, Farfin, I think, is their quarterback. Also, a really good underrated quarterback in the state. They were definitely a fun watch.
Yeah.
Let's get to some matchups. We'll go first off.
Ooh, I like this one.
Reviewing from last week. We had Casson, Manderville, Byron, and we had Orono and Marshall as our.
My turn to go first.
Well, give us the results from last week.
Oh, last week. That's right. So last week, where are we at here? We're at 4A, correct?
4A.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I had Marshall, and they beat Orono. You had Orono. So I got a dub there.
Yeah.
I had Cass and Mantonville, but they fumbled at the end and cost me the game. So
Byron by default was great for me.
Yep.
Yes.
So we went 1-1 there. So you're still ahead overall, but we split on that. So
all right.
So now this week.
Yes, this week we got Ricori Becker, a rivalry that I've that I got to last season. So and I've interviewed, the players that play in it as well in the past, and you can tell, even though Becker's down, I feel like it was a game worth putting up with Ricori cracking the top 10. You'd
Sure.
think, I don't want to give my game plan away, but Ricori being top 10, only looking up, you're
I feel
like,
like you're
oh
setting me
man,
up. You're just setting me
oh
up.
man.
You
But
put Ricori in the top 10,
with these rivalry games, you never know what's going to happen. I
you're
wouldn't
throwing
put it
bait out
past.
there.
And
You're
then
throwing some
Byron
bait.
and Stewartville, I want to err on the side of not repeating. But Byron Stewartville was too good not to have Byron up there once
Yeah.
again. So
Rivalry games are the best.
that one is up
You
there.
think about how many people, especially in these smaller communities, how many people are going to be at these games. Like that Casson Manorville Byron game, they said there was almost
Electric.
somewhere just shy of 3,000 people, which in those small towns is massive. So how fun was the
That's the
energy
whole
at that?
city.
Yeah. Yeah. How fun is that? My turn to go first.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to take Byron because I think coming off that big win, I think they're really starting to solidify themselves, and I like that running back a lot. So I'm taking Byron.
All right. Give me a Stewartville by default.
Yep.
Gonna bank on Byron's is too emotionally high after a big win. It's gonna be a
We're going to take eat the
letdown
cheese, right?
game.
Eat the
Yep.
cheese.
And it's not that it's Stewartville's a team that if you do come out flat a little bit, they're gonna jump on you. Um, they're gonna see a lot of Abdi. I think it's Abdi. I'm gonna go with
W.
Abdi.
Yeah.
One of the better running backs in state. And let's go Stewartville.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Well, it's going to be a great game. And the weather on Friday is supposed to be really good again, too. So if you got to
Yes.
punt it, kick it, throw it, catch it, you'll be in good shape. So you don't have
All
any
right.
weather to deal with.
And now I get
All
to
right.
pick
You
between
go.
Ricori and Becker, and I'm
Ooh,
gonna go Ricori. I'm gonna go
good.
Ricori.
Good. Because Coach Lundeen is one of my all-time favorite coaches, and I would never pick against him if I had a chance. So I got
Ricori.
Becker.
I
I feel
went
like
to
I'm
this
going
game.
2-0. I
Becker
feel
smoked
like
Ricori last year, and I think it's gonna be different this year.
I feel like we
Max,
picked
let's go.
6 games, and I think I'm already 6-0.
Oh,
I feel like
crazy. No,
I
no
know I
way.
feel good about my picks.
All right.
So
Well, the picks are in for the
yep,
first three classes. So
we
we'll
go. We're
see
halfway
what
there.
type of Coles cash we get
That's
pulling from
right.
those. But
Cole's silent
all right.
sponsor.
Let's move on to the next class. Before, should we talk about? Let's let's jump up a little bit before. We had a St. Peter Albert Lee. We picked that game. St. Peter. I mean, I guess we'll wait on it because Albert Lee's in this class. I know we talked about St. Peter. We'll wait to discuss that
Okay.
through the matchups. So what jumps out to you? Some of these things I was going through the rankings, and there was like a lot of changing at the start of the season, especially with
Sure.
even top 10 teams going like in and out, in and out.
Mhm.
But as you can see, there's not
I
a lot
think
of green or red
no,
arrows in
and
the
I
top
think
eight.
that top 5 is pretty solid. I think people could argue moving teams around in the top 5 maybe,
Yeah,
but I think that top 5 is legit. I really like Minneapolis North, but I
bottom
think
five.
I still think I'm not sure they're better. I'm not sure they're better than Holy Family. Overall, I think I like some of the things they do. I've watched their clips, but I don't know. And I need to watch. I need to watch Wasika this week. That's on my list of teams to figure out if they're as good as we have them up there. I've
Was
seen
trying to
Annandale.
get to a Wasika game in person, but I don't think I'm going to be able to
Yeah.
with my schedule. But
Well, I'm going to try to watch their game as well. Annandale, I think, is right now they're a solid number 1. There's no doubt. But I'm not sure. I think Holy Family might be 4, might be 3. And then I know, when we had, when we had our interview with Annandale, he still loves Pierce.
yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to say. But that top 5 is. I will say this: I'm confident that 2 of those teams in the top 5 will be playing in the championship game.
Yeah.
I'm confident to say that.
Yeah. I'd back you up on that. I think
Yeah.
when we look outside of those teams, I know Laverne, right? Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Jet plays Jackson County Central,
Yep.
this week. That's gonna be a heck of a matchup for them to battle their way through,
Sure.
going in a team that's in a lower class, but
Yep.
pretty much the favorite,
How fun is
in that
that though?
class.
How fun is
Yeah,
that, right?
it's Jackson County. I mean, they played Lister. We'll get into it, but I just want to focus on them for. I mean, it's their biggest game in the season for sure for
Sure.
the regular season wise,
Well,
and
there's
you
some
get to
pride
go
on that.
into it with
There's some pride on that.
no
That's right.
expectations too,
Sure.
because at least my expectation, I was talking to somebody today, and I think my idea going through it is they don't have much of a chance,
Mhm.
right? But then that's also the thing. They can go into that with motivation and play loose because they're not supposed to win that game anyways. And then who knows what happens from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess as a player though, do you ever go into a game like, well, we're not supposed to win, so I'm gonna play loose? Like I don't
Yeah,
know. I guess I don't know that mentality personally, but I
right.
understand the philosophy to it. But
Yeah.
man, football, it's not like basketball. You don't play like 30 games. You play 8. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a game plan
And
in
open
play
up that
here.
playbook a little bit, is
That's the part I like. I would
yeah.
agree with you on that. I feel like as a coach, I feel like you can roll the dice a little bit more. You can
Yeah.
gamble a little bit more in a game like this because it can only help you, you know. I think when you're playing up. So I like that. So
Uh, Pequot Lakes is the only undefeated team that's not kind of in that upper echelon of teams. I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't know if they're I obviously have teams that have losses ahead of them. So that in a way tells you a little bit of what I think, but I still have them at 13. I think it's a respectable spot for
yeah,
what
we
they
can't yeah, like I don't there's not enough crossover when that's such a broad. We're talking about teams from, Pequot's 3 hours north of here, and
yeah.
you're talking about teams on the other end of the state, so it's just hard to compare. We're doing our best. Um, I think DGF is a solid team.
Cotter beat a pretty good
Yeah,
Alberta team
yeah.
that
But you look at a team like Piers, they 76-6 over St. Cloud Apollo.
yeah.
Like, how do you score like 12 like I don't 10 touchdowns? I don't. But anyway, look at Holy Family had a solid game against Watertown Mayor, 13 30-13, closer score than that probably, kind of
Mhm.
sealed it late. Pine Island just crushes Austin. Um, North, 61 Rock over Roosevelt, which is nothing. And then, Waseca can't control their schedule either, but, Worthington is not a formidable opponent. And then, of
Ooh,
course, Annandale goes 35-7. So, you know, there's just not, we can't control these schedules. They don't have the crossover that the bigger schools have with teams that are a little bit closer talent wise. So you get a lot of these big scores. I think the Albert Lee loss, the 26-21 was entertaining. Otherwise, I don't know, where are we going with that?
yeah. Right. Yeah, I think Dassel Cocato is another team that got to state last season that
Mm-hmm.
started off. I mean, they're 4-2 now. I think they're
Yeah. And
trending
they
upward.
host Holy Family on Friday.
Yeah.
So I think that's a game where, I mean, that there's seeding on that.
Mhm.
So, Holy Family's trying to win out and get the 1 seed. Their only loss is to Annandale, but DC is a solid football team. So, I mean, they could better their chances at a 1 seed. They
They
win
could.
out.
They could. I know we got a couple teams, I think, on the next page that are in the bottom tier rows that we'll pick. So I kind of want to
Sure,
avoid them for right now.
sure.
But any, I know Breck proved me
No,
wrong. They beat the Centaurs. Shout out Breck.
yeah,
We'll touch
yeah,
on that a little
yep.
bit. So let's just get on to the matchups because I think that'll kind of carry us into. So
So
these
this
are
so
the
we
two
had
matchups, but
sure
let's go
this
back to
week.
last week. Yep.
So last week, Albert Lee St. Peter,
Yep.
and I took Albert Lee. You had St. Peter on default, and I took the L on that one. And then you took the Centaurs, actually, mostly
Yeah,
because their mascot is half man, half horse. And that's probably
I
one of the better mascots,
I
right?
tried for the upset.
Yeah. And then I took Breck, and it was 18-12. Nobody could make an extra point in the game. So it was just touchdowns. So I got Breck. So we split that one also, 1-1.
Yeah. Hey, Breck proving me wrong, you know.
Yep.
So it's all right. I'm here for it. I am here for it. Let's get into some of these picks. Did you go first?
I went first last time, so you can take this
So
one.
I get the free square. Okay. I'll take Jackson County Central as my free square. Now I just picked that so you didn't have it. I think
Yeah.
now this game on the left is a toss up. I think it's going to be an interesting game. 4-2 teams that are going to be playing each other. They both appear in my top 25 rankings in the class. When you look at it, they have, some wins against similar opponents, and then when you try to compare the team schedule wise, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't add up a little bit. But 4-2 teams, their points per game pretty much is pretty close within 3. It's 24 and 27. Foley's defense, points allowed, is allowing 10 less points than Jordan's defense on average. But you also got to take into consideration, who they're playing and what that looks like. But
Mm-hmm.
all that to tee up you and your pick. Who are you taking, and who's going to be the default?
I'm taking Jordan. They must be the home team because you put them on the right.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
But
going to
also
take that.
some of them either like this one has at nothing, but
Okay.
it's usually the top team on the app that I'm using is home.
Well,
So
I'm
maybe they are, maybe they aren't.
well.
I was
I'm
just
going to
guessing.
take Jordan either way. But if it's at Jordan, it's kind of a drive from Foley to Jordan. So the
It
bus.
says at TBA.
Oh well, I don't know. But anyway, I'm taking Jordan. I still think they're the better team. I saw them earlier in the year with Holy Family. So it's a bus ride for Foley if they got to go to Jordan. So
In doing some research,
go ahead.
there's 3 home games for Jordan on the schedule, which would mean this is probably going to be a 4th, is my guess.
Okay.
Uh,
So
Now who
the
knows? There
bus
may
ride
be some
alone from Foley down there is not great. So
right. Hey,
yeah.
well,
I
geography
have to ride
lesson
on a
for me.
school bus for like
I don't even know
90
where
minutes. Is gross. So
yeah,
hot school bus.
I'll have to do some research on where
Yeah.
is
Give
it
them
the
a call.
Eagles? The Falcons.
The Falcons. Foley
Where the
Falcons.
Falcons are located, but
F
I'll
squared.
find that out eventually. Yeah, so the picks are done I got a quick write-up. So I got
the notes here. So
Foley and I have Jackson County Central. Let's go. All right. Feeling good, man. I know you said you were feeling good, but
I feel like I at the very least I'm 3-1 right now. At the worst, potentially 4-0.
all right. You're battling uphill.
I'm feeling good about it.
All right. We got some good matchups. We had some good results from this past week. Where do you want to take us away when we look at
I'll be honest with you. I did not deep dive any 2A this week, mostly because I did not feel like there was any like great matchups. As you can see, Jackson County wins 54-20 over LeSueur Henderson,
which was a middle of the ranking team for me
right?
last week.
And then
And
you have
I feel it's unfair to bump them down 11 spots
no.
because
They're playing a
a
dominant
lot of
team.
teams are going to
Agree.
lose that, but I feel like it's a case of some other teams prove something to move above them. So you look at the rankings and I will admit it seems unfair, but it's also when you're a fan looking at your team, it's very easy to simplify it and say you lost and you went down, but it's also there's how many other teams in the class that played that are also in the mixture.
Yeah, I agree. Holdingford does what they need to do against Melrose. Melrose a pretty average team at best, 61-26. The Staples Motley Barnesville game, like I said, I watched Staples Motley last week.
Yeah,
they're a solid team. Barnesville gave them a much better game than I expected, so a lot of respect to Barnesville as we head down the stretch. Chatfield beat St. Charles 51-8. So
the
that's
Triton
a blowout.
Dover Iota game is
The Dover Iota game. Yeah, I would like to see. I wish I would have checked those games out a little more than I did because I was just focusing on some bigger matchups for our talk. But I would like to see that. Look at the clips of the Dover Iota game to see if was it 28,
Right.
14 and they scored late, or were they driving to win?
Yeah,
That's what I'd like to
it's
know.
something like you're saying. There's only time is finite, and some of these games you have to dig into like after, just because you do want to know about these teams going
Yeah.
in. That's a game because I saw it Triton in person, and I get they were playing St. Charles, which at the time I had ranked, not anymore, but seeing Triton in person is like it was jarring for me of how good they were.
Yep.
So any team that can even if it
How
was a
long?
two-score game at the end and they scored a garbage time touchdown, I would argue even holding it within 2 scores of this
Sure.
Triton team makes you
How long
a
does it
middle of
take
the
you
pack.
when you're at a game like Triton with a smaller school to see the D1 kid on the field? Like 2 seconds, right?
Warm-ups.
Isn't it amazing? I think you're out there. I'm always more blown away when they're, oh, that kid's going to the Gophers. I'm like, which one? Like you can't pick them out, right?
Right.
But it's not as big a deal when you're in a smaller community like that. That kid stands out like a sore thumb. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Eden Valley Watkins, I think, is another team that's really played solid and week to week and blows out KMS. So 52 rocks. I think those are kind of our go-to better teams. I think I do like the top 10. I don't have any issues in the top 10, but we also need to start looking at, I think, after Friday, we need to start breaking down the sections a little bit more, heading into playoff round
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today is the first round of the playoffs across the state, except for 6A, I think, 5A through 9.
Yeah, because I
Well,
think don't they play Tuesday and then Friday that the
so
week of
so
sections?
the so everybody's playing Wednesday,
Yep.
and then all of the sections except 6A, 5A down to 9 will play Tuesday,
Tuesday.
unless there's a bye in your section. So
Right.
there'll be quarterfinal rounds Tuesday, then there'll be semifinal be on Saturday, and most of those games are at like 1:00, most of them. So they'll go Tuesday, Saturday, Friday.
Let's put all the good games right at the same time so you can only watch one at a time.
Well, I think some of it comes down to like officiating crews too, like getting enough crews. But think about it, like after next Friday, half the teams in the state will be done.
Yeah, and then we get
So
to laser our focus a little bit
yeah,
more.
yeah, and I'm
Week to
excited too
week.
because it's fun. It'll be fun to see a team. There's going to be at least one team in each section where like, wow, we did not see that coming.
Right.
Right? We focused so much on some other team and like didn't realize how much better this team was. But
Or one of the teams that doesn't that I label as not playing a good schedule, like
when
proves their worth,
yeah,
and then they
sure,
actually
that's
do
real. That's
uh,
real.
prove it. So I think that's also an interesting one. Yeah, I know. What was it? Is it Aitken?
Aiken, yep.
Yeah, I think they had a good win against Rush City, which kind of flip-flopped them in my rankings,
Mm-hmm.
giving them a top 15 spot. I wanted to, and I think we'll get to this team, so maybe I
Well,
should hold off
I think
in
on this,
the
Caleb, too,
matchups.
like having Barnesville down at 15, and they're literally one play away from beating Staples Motley. Like
Right.
I'm not saying they should be in the top row, but I probably think I'd move them up to 10. I mean, if
Yeah.
Staples Motley is a third best team, I don't know. I think
Yeah. I had
Barnesville.
Barnesville. You might be looking at last week's because I
Yeah.
think I have
Oh,
them.
where do you have them now?
They're third, so they went up
Oh,
2
13.
spots.
Well, no, I'm looking at the fifth. I'm
Still your
looking at the.
point
No, I'm using
remains.
my last week's number
Got you,
though.
got you,
But I
got
was
you.
just saying, like, I
No,
feel like,
I wanted to talk about yeah, because they
yeah,
did lose to a Staples Motley team by 4 in a really good game, that, um, I think I was not worried after the Pillager loss where they kinda get handled,
yeah.
because I think Pillager is also a real good team that I think is a stronger 9 team.
Just the name of that town is scary.
The
Pillager,
the mascots, A plus.
right? Yeah.
Uh,
I'll just go
Geography-wise, I
through.
don't know where Pillager is, but
let me let me go through Barnesville's schedule. Roseau 52-19 win. Pelican Rapids 44-36 win. They lose to Pillager 27-6. Beat Holly 38-36. Beat Perham 20-13 and lose a close one to Staples Motley. They play Dilworth, Glen, and Felton this week, and they finish with Warroad. So DGF, good team, but I think I'd say Perham. I think Barnesville finishes 6-2, so I think they're a potential.
Barnesville's teams that they've beat combined for 6 wins total.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing where they lose to a Pillager team, but then they also play a Staples Motley team, and it looks a lot better than what that result was. And I have Staples Motley higher, so it's a matter of what are we going to see in section play?
Pillager plays Staples Motley this week, so well, now you can really start comparing. How that stuff goes. Pillager's still 6-0. Again, they can't control their schedules, but they haven't. Their closest game they had. They haven't had a close game.
If you had, okay, let's just
go ahead.
If we were doing a draft,
sure,
and I told you to draft the team that you think is most likely to challenge Jackson County, is it Holdingford or is it one of these other ones?
I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Holdingford, Staples Motley, and Triton. I don't know if Chatfield has their defense from what I've watched. I don't know if their defense is good enough, physical enough, but I think athletically, Holdingford, Staples Motley, and Triton could make Jackson County Central keep their starters in the game in the fourth quarter. I don't know about beating them, but they could give them a real game. I think everybody in the state wants to see Jackson County and Triton play each other at some point. I don't know where it's going to match up. I don't know how the sections match up, but how fun would that game be?
It's must-see TV right there.
You got it. Yeah, you're going to see two big-time players against each other. So.
Yeah. One more thing. The Rochester Lords, the Eagles, I think they lost to Chatfield by 7 week 1. And I think, a loss to Caledonia 15-32. You see Caledonia where they are in my rankings as well. I think this is a team that maybe people are sleeping on that can make some noise in sections, and I haven't looked at their section. We haven't dove in, into section play and how these sections are going to shake out, but I could see
that's probably some of my homework I'm going to take on later this week. Is I want to dig into the sections and matchups so we can take. I just want to start dotting these on the sheet that you have of which sections they're in, so we can know better which of these teams actually can't get to the state tournament.
Right.
Where only one of them can make it. So that's what I gotta write some numbers on here and we'll figure that out. All right. So 2A last week, you took Uppsala, Swanville area, USA. And I had Maple Lake, and so I took an L there because Uppsala, 52-8. I had Barnesville, and you had Staples Motley. Tough loss. So I took double L's there. Yes, Barnesville. I still think Barnesville's going to be better, but I understand they're a better team.
I respect the pick. I respect the pick.
So down $200 of Cole's cash. So.
All right, and the games this week, we got the Eagles against the Cobras, and we got Chatfield against Caledonia. I went first, last to class, so it is your pick.
I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna take. I need a win, so I got to take Triton. You're taking Lords. You have to, because I'm taking Triton.
It's the default, and I just talked about. I don't know. I think they can make some noise. I think this is a better game than what you think it is. If I had to pick, I would pick Triton. I'll just say that. So my default pick is, but if I'm trying to talk myself into this game, I think I can.
All right.
I can talk myself into it.
Sometimes you just have to believe.
Hey.
All right.
I will do that. And then I'll go Chatfield with my pick.
All right.
So I got the Eagles.
I'm taking the Fricties from Caledonia. I believe some of that history is going to bounce back. The Caledonia tradition, comes through, and I pick up a win there also.
Not so fast. All right. The picks are in, and we're moving on. Let's
All
go
right.
to our next class. Springfield, I think, played Sleepy Eye,
Yeah.
and Sleepy Eye beat. They had a good week 1 win, but other than that, they've been So I think
Yeah.
that's my reasoning why I bumped Springfield down. I'm still a Springfield believer, but I think it's a matter of the teams behind them were kind of ready to make the jump up. If
Yep.
somebody maybe I don't even want to call it a slip up because they did win, right? But it's just not what
Not
I was
impressive.
expecting
Yeah.
from
I
them.
get it.
So that's kind of the reasoning behind
I
that.
I don't have a problem with that. I think I probably would even have pushed. I personally pushed Breckenridge over to number 2,
Yeah.
and not because they gave me a sick piece of swag last week. I still have it here. I'm not wearing it this week for the Breckenridge people, but I did bring it along.
He was wearing it at the
I
start and
had it.
took it
It's
off
just
because
I
it is
got it
too
here.
hot.
It's just too hot in my office right now to put it on. I don't want to be all sweaty on the show, but I slide Breck over there. I think I've watched them enough. They're super athletic. I think their defense a lot. I did watch some clips from the Fillmore Central game too. I think they're a solid team. I think. Again, I think we're right on here. I think 2 of the Minneota is going to be there. Minneota is going to be there. See it, Caleb? Right here,
I see it.
right there. Minneota is going to be
Just
there.
wait till we get to 9 man.
I know. I can see it already. Spoiler alert. Minneota is going to be there, and I think they're going to play one of the teams in that group. I got to figure out the brackets so that we know if they're going to have to play each other before that. But there's some good teams. I still think like a team like Barnum, who you have at 6,
They killed
just
MIB,
crushed
but
MIB.
MIB had a lot of starters out from what info I gathered, so I think that also plays a fact
Okay,
into it,
all right,
and that's maybe I was dropping Springfield. It's where does it stop? And I chose
sure. I
to
appreciate
draw
it.
the line there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But I could see, I think this Barnum team is really good as long as
Yeah.
Cleveland and Parker's Prairie, which is a team that I think we've probably talked about a little bit. And I know I think I got an email from their AD about the rankings about I think I just had them below a team that they beat or something like that. And like I told them I got to do all classes top 25. There is stuff that's probably going to go that you probably do have a good argument, or
Mhm.
maybe I just didn't see a result in the same way
Well,
as you or whatever. I
I mean,
think
regardless of like MIB, regardless of starters or not, like you can't hang around in the top 10 on the laurels of the past. So I do
yeah,
love you have Murray County Central up there. I'm hitting those guys up. I want some swag from that school because I think Rudy the Rebel is one of the best mascots we have in all of the charts. So I like that one. But
Red Lake County I think is going to be playing a big one, and we talked about their Monoman loss last week. I think they're going to be in for a good one. Just a little precursor to some of the picks that we'll be making. Park Christian's in that mix as well.
mhm.
Um, we got the MIB free fall. That's what that is.
Yep,
Dropping 9 spots.
understand.
We'll see. Hopefully they get healthy for sections and playoff time.
Right.
Also, I don't know. I think Cherry's another team we're going to talk about on the next slide. Otter Tail Central. Who they lose to? I feel like they lost to. Pretty sure it was a good team, and it was Parker's Prairie.
Yeah.
Parker's Prairie. So, I didn't have
You
Upsala
look at the
ranked
top. I
at
mean, you
all,
look
and now they're fresh meat in the top 25.
sure.
I think they're the only new team on the list, which I think is very
Yeah.
justified
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
draft.
But if you look back on that top 5, I mean, everybody did their thing.
Yeah.
Minneota scores 10 touchdowns again. I know Springfield had a closer game with Sleepy Eye 22-28. Wobbin 35 Rock. Breckenridge crushes Lake Park Audubon. Fillmore Central 63-6. Like, man, I guess for some of these coaches, wins are wins, but as you're getting down to the end of the season, man, I'd be nervous about in so many blowouts with good teams that your team is ready to play 4 quarters when they play somebody good. Your team is ready to run 2-minute drill when they need to run it. Your team is ready to run their 2-point conversion and a pressure,
Maybe
things
the
that you can't
Springfield
practice.
close game is a blessing in
Yeah,
disguise, and it's
that's
gonna
what
help them out
that's
later
what
on in the season.
that's what I'm saying. I guess some of these teams have just had such big blowouts, and they're fun, and you get a lot of backups in the game and everything else. But man, I don't know if it's conditioning your team. Remember, we had Coach on from Annandale, and he's like, that's their biggest concern.
Yeah.
So I think Coach Walters nailed it, but we'll see. I mean, there's our concerns that coaches have, but maybe they don't come true.
Yeah. The last team I kind of just want to highlight, Walker Hackensack. They haven't played anybody recently, but when you look at it and you look at how the schedule and the teams have developed, the tough loss week 1 to a team in the top 5 is not
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world,
No.
because that's going to happen to a lot of people. But then a Park Christian team that they beat 13-7, which is a good team that I like a lot, and a Bagley team that's 4-2. I think that
Sure.
it's one of those things where the results, and as we go on, it has aged well for them in a way that we've kind of found out that those are some of the better teams in the class that they have quality wins over. But
Right.
let's go to some of the matchups.
Well, let's talk about last week.
Yes.
So
Give us
last
a
week,
briefing.
yeah, you had Deer River, I had Bram, and I got the dub there. I had MIB, you had Barnum. Not even close. So that was a split. I got the dub with Bram. You got the W with Barnum. So 1-1 there. So now on to this week.
Is it my pick?
No, I think it's my pick. I'm on the odds. So I'm the odds. So I went 1-3. Yeah. So I'm on 5. Oh, man. Holy moly. These are tough. You made these tough. Let's see.
We got
I know. I want to take Deer.
Red
I
Lake
want to take Deer.
County, and we got I don't think I've said it on. So Park Christian versus Red Lake County, and then on the right we got the Cherry Tigers, formerly a 9-man team last season.
Yeah,
going
I'm gonna take
Deer
Deer River. I'm gonna take Deer River.
I had them last week and they lost. Right.
Yep,
well, I don't know if
did.
it was a default or I picked them, but they let me down. So I'm glad to be on the other side of Deer River after they let me down last week. So let's go Cherry. I got to see Cherry play last year. I mean, they got some players over there. So I like the Cherry default pick. I think that's a good one. Hopefully Cherry can give Deer River a lesson after they failed me last week. And then we got the Park Christian Red Lake County game.
I know. That's why I went to the other. I went to Deer River because the other side. That's a tough one.
I don't think. I think you're getting a good draw. Either one that I take as the default.
Yeah.
I think these are two evenly matched teams. And
who's at home? I guess I'd pick the home team. I guess
I'm gonna take. Sure. I think it's Red Lake County, and that's who I'm gonna take. It says at Oakley, and I have no idea where that is geography wise, but that's what it says on the
Oakley, Minnesota.
OKLEE.
Hold on, let me look.
Get the old Google. So my pick is Red Lake County for this game.
That you know how far that is from us? 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Is it south?
No, it's north. Way north. Way up there.
Northeast, northwest. Where are we talking?
So it's almost it's by Red Lake Falls, obviously, but so if you go north, man, it's past. It's almost the Thief River Falls.
Okay.
So up in that northwest area of
I've been in that northwest area.
Yeah, beautiful up there, but that's a haul if you're going up to a game. So you get mileage.
The mileage has been racking up this year. I'd say that much.
Hopefully the execs at the Minnesota High School Network podcast are taking care of your mileage and meals on those trips. So good job. Talk to the bosses.
Okay. Yeah, so the picks are done for that one. The execs are taking care of me, and
Mm-hmm.
we got a 9-man that I'll start off by
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You like that?
Well,
A
I
little
don't
head
see.
action.
Yeah. Nice. How great is that?
Yeah. The
I
thing
like it.
is, I will. It's. I mean, look at this. This is a quality. I mean,
I know. I love that.
there's not a lot of 6A teams or even teams that have this
HBC.
nice of a hat.
That is great.
HBC. Yeah, I got to. We'll start there. They played
What'd you think of them?
Edgerton. Man, dude, they are
They're fun to
impressive.
watch, right? I've watched their film.
Fun
Like they do some really cool stuff.
fun to
Really
watch is
cool
an
stuff.
understatement. Um, the Micah Bush. I don't know if you've heard of him,
Mm-mm.
but
No.
really, uh, a D1 guy that is.
Sure.
I think he's going to South Dakota State, but
Yep.
one of those guys where you can just tell, that he's one of the D1 guys on the
Mm-hmm.
team. And
Easy
then
to
you
spot.
got, I don't know if you're aware of the Metzger routes that are in Hills Beaver Creek, but
No.
the Metzger routes run very deep. And if you have Metzger is your last name, basically in Hills Beaver Creek, it's like a free pass for anything,
I
is
gotcha.
basically at least what it should be. I was they have a ton of Metzgers on the roster, and they're not all. My first mistake was thinking that they're all like brothers, and just because that's when I see the both of the
They're all
last names,
related
that's
though.
that's the
Yeah.
first thing that I go to. And
I gotcha.
shout out Braden Metzger. Hit me up and was kind of talking to me before the game, and I kind of asked them, are they brothers or cousins or what's going on there? And Jamin, their quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
um, is one of his brothers. Braden was a former player that graduated. They got Carson Metzger, tight end, DN. He's a sophomore. He's uh, another Metzger, Brody Metzger, which was making a lot of plays as well. Number 10, receiver linebacker, sophomore. Um, he's the son of the coach who is his the roots are so deep in this Hills Beaver Creek town.
Sure.
I'm telling you, Maddox also another Metzger. It's just like Metzger's everywhere. Metzger is the athletic director. It's just yeah, it's
Got
Metzger
it.
City over there, and
Got it.
it's a good. It runs in the family because all of them are great at what they do, and real fun. You can tell. Just shout out the community because they made it. They kind of rolled out the red carpet. I got to see it. It
That's
was my
awesome.
first 9-man
That's
experience,
so
and they
cool, man.
well, not
I
first 9-man experience for them. And
Right.
I got
Out
to
that way.
see
Well, I
a
mean,
lot.
hey,
So
that's a big deal. That's a heck of a drive out there. I did watch because I told you last week I watched their game the week before. I mean, it was a blowout win. They're obviously the number one team, but it was their Granada Huntley East game the week before that they won like 50 to something. This
yeah,
blew a team out. So, but they're fun to watch. They're super talented. I like all the stuff they do on offense. They spread it out and run the quarterback a little bit and throw the ball well. So
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Kitson County, but I haven't seen Kitson County like up close. I've seen some
mhm.
clips and
Yep,
such,
I
but
watched their game a couple weeks ago. They're solid too.
man,
They're solid too. I got to go. Like I said, I got to go through the sections and see where the sections align up because I got to see if these teams would meet before the Final Four,
right,
right? So I got to
right.
check that out. But
Depending on that, I'm close to saying it's a lock that they're going to be at the
mhm,
bank.
yeah.
They're that impressive.
Well, they are. I'm just talking about like if they end up matching up. Like we don't want to see them play Kitson County Central
Right,
of
exactly.
any time before the finals. So we just got
Yeah.
to. I got to see how those brackets play out.
Hopefully they shake out
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah, other than that, Mabel Canton picking up a big win last week,
yep.
jumping up a couple spots. No fault to Stephen Argyle or Mille Lacs because they both won, but it's just down one spot. They got bumped by a team that had um, a little bit more of an impressive week, not in the to the fault of those two teams because they can't control who they play or anything, but just
Kind of
kind
close
of
game though.
reality.
Mabel Canton 26-20, right?
Yep.
So
Um,
he played a good team though. I mean, better teams than some of these other teams are matching up with. So I appreciate it. But.
yeah. So man, when Alden Conger they routed Bethlehem, I wanted to get to that game. I
That
know
was a
that it
bounce
was a
back. That's
Saturday
a
night
bounce back,
game.
right?
Yeah. Saturday night game. We got a couple undefeated teams in the third row, and the third row is kind of interesting because I think Leroy's kind of proven to me that I did think they were. I still think they're not what they were last season, but I think they're better than what I was giving them credit for so far. And this the rabbits versus the what am I going to call them? The it's not an eagle, it's a hawk.
Yep. Hawks and Eagles. That's our go-to.
Yeah,
Falcons is
so I
another one.
think we'll get to that one. I think that's a pick 'em in my next slide.
Let's see.
Edgerton, I kind of feel bad for bumping Edgerton down because I don't think anybody's really challenging Hills Beaver Creek that's not in
No.
the top 11.
Right.
I'll give Alden Conger maybe a shot of making it somewhat competitive because I've seen them play, and also an impressive team. But I don't know, man.
So
Edgerton has a good running back. I want to try to find his name. Keep talking though.
So no, I'll throw this out there for everybody too. Is my goal is to get all of these numbers, the section numbers on your rankings when we come back, so we can see ahead of time. Because if anybody in your top row is in the same section, which I feel badly, I don't already know that, but we're talking about 300 teams here. So, but we need to know that because that'll make a difference when we start making some predictions down the stretch. So
that is true. I'm just Mabel Canton and Spring Grove, Kingsland, Houston, Leroy Ostrander. That's a section. That's probably one of the better ones. And then Red Rock in, is it Wabasso?
Wabasso, yep.
Oh, nailed it.
Nice job, yep.
Those are 2 6-0 teams that we're going to be picking that game. They're playing this week. They're in the same section. Hills Beaver Creek and Edgerton, they just played. Hills Beaver Creek's going to walk out of that section pretty easily.
Yeah. They walk out of any section.
Hillcrest and Border West is section 4. Cromwell, Wright, and Mille Lacs. That's 2 teams. It's 5 and 6.
Yep.
Bertha Hewitt's 5 and 1, and they're also not a team to sneeze at. I think section 6 looks pretty. One of the weaker ones was section 7. Foston's the number 1 seed in that section, which is the 24th team, and a new one to my top 25. And Cook County 5 and 0. They're number 17. There's the section 7 1 seed as it sits right now, and then that leaves section 8, which is, man, that's a tough top 3. We got Kitson County Central, Stephen Argyle, and Goodridge. All in the same section as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make our picks, but I need to watch more Stephen Argyle. But man, Kitson County is solid. So they're
Argyle's
diverse.
right there. Telling you, I've seen them first person.
Yeah. No, they're tough. I played college football with all those dudes from Stephen Argyle. There's the Baravich brothers. Boy, they're tough kids out there. So, all right, here's last week. We had the Cromwell Bertha Hewitt game. I took Cromwell and got the dub. Cromwell went up 36-20 over Bertha Hewitt. And then it was Edgerton, Hills Beaver Creek, which you talked about. And you had Hills Beaver Creek and got all the swag too. So we split on that one. So overall 6 and 8. I had 6 wins. You had 8 wins. But I feel like this week I could be 10 and 4.
10 and 4.
That's what I feel like.
I am gonna write down 10 and 4 in here, and we will get to that next week because that is not true.
10 and 4, I feel I should get double points.
If you're 10 and 4,
called my number.
Cole should give you free cash for life.
That's right. I'm gonna get Cole's cash, buddy. All right, you go first because you're the odds. So
I'm gonna go with Alden Conger is my pick. I do think this Leroy Ostrander, like I said, I think they're a pretty darn good team, especially from where I thought they were. But I like this Alden Conger team, and I think back to the Kingsland game that I
Mhm.
went to, and they were giving Kingsland um, all they can handle, and the game got cut short. And I think Leroy took Kingsland pretty close. I think this is going to be it should be a really competitive game between these two teams, but I'm going to give the slight edge to Alden Conger. I'm
All right.
taking
Well, then I get to go first.
nice
I'm taking the Rabbits from Wabasso.
Red Rock.
You got it. You got the Red Rockers.
Go.
RRC.
Yes, you give it to me. All
There you
right.
go. I'm feeling good. Could be 9-5. I'm feeling like 10-4. But
Well, Wabasso Red Rock game is going to be a good one, and it's going
yeah,
to tell us a lot of who's going to come out of the section. These two
yeah,
teams are probably going to play going into. It's probably going to be the section final game because they're
right.
probably going to be 1-2 going into it. So a little preview of some playoff football for Week 7.
No doubt. It's going to be fun. Like I said, what you were just kind of doing here on the fly, I'm going to try to get, and maybe if I get it done up right, I will send it to you ahead of time. So
Yes.
you can kind of see it as well. So we have a little more analysis on that, but really fun week. Like I said, it's getting more exciting each week as far as kind of seeing where people are and teams jockeying for position. There's really, really big games on the schedule for a lot of teams that are holding out hope for 1 seeds. And in some sections, there's 2 buys in there. If there's only, 5 teams or
Right.
6 teams in the section. So, yeah, it's going to be a good run here for the next 10 days. So why don't you let everybody know our next schedule?
Well, for next week,
Yeah. So we're going to be regular on Tuesday,
I think we're gonna.
or do you want to just wait and do it
I don't
Wednesday?
know. Be
Because if we
ready
don't go
for
Tuesday, we won't be able to talk about this week.
right. I think we should if we try a live stream Tuesday night, I think it'd
Yep.
be a good setup for Wednesday when we do
Sure.
our 6A thing. So
We're doing double live stream,
I think we might do a double live stream next week.
dude. I need a makeup artist. We're gonna be live on TV. There's no
Hey,
editing here.
if we're gonna be I don't know. If you guys are still watching at this point, I want you to comment down below where you are from in Minnesota. I feel like
Yep.
that's something interesting because I like to see where all this video gets to, and that's a
Mhm.
part of. Now I see this, and I can try to get to one of your guys' games, or maybe keep track of your team a little bit more. That you bring up some good points or just some information. So
Yeah.
definitely comment in the comments where you're from in Minnesota. What school are you cheering for? Are you a part of? Stuff like that. I think it's interesting stuff to see.
Yeah,
But
this is great. I love it. I really enjoy watching all the film, and I'm gonna, like I said, I got to dig in on a few more games. I kind of highlighted a few games for Friday night that I want to be able to give a little deeper analysis on and share with everybody on Tuesday in our live feed. If we're doing a live, we should probably let people be live in the comments too,
yeah, no, definitely.
and throw some
Comments will be going.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that
Well,
would be helpful
I
too.
still have a week to plan it out, so hopefully
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
get
Hopefully
through
that
it.
works.
But
Hopefully that
yeah,
works.
definitely there'll be a live stream at some point next week, and it'll be
Love
the
it.
first one. So you have to hang
Love it.
in there with us. But yeah,
Love
that
it,
being
man. Thanks
said,
for having me again.
yeah,
This was
thank you for
fantastic.
joining.
Thanks
Thank you
everybody
guys
for
for
watching.
watching.
Share it with everybody, and let's get those views up to like 3,000, right?
Yes.
All right, man.
Hey,
Have a
that'd be
great one.
great.
Take care.